welcome to another WiZDOM update. My name is Andrew Kubank and I have the absolute fortune of being one of WiZDOM's national directors. This video is number 10 in our Bank Secrets series, which is just a series of 12 videos, and it's all the little tips, tricks and secrets that we've learnt along the way that we're sharing with you to hopefully drive better finance outcomes, and as a result of that, drive better property journeys overall. So look, today's one is all about discharging. And what most customers assume that discharging happens the same way. So what I'm referring to here is whenever you sell a property, you have to go through the process of obviously discharging the loan, and as a result of that, paying back any money that is owed against that property, and obviously you can then go to settlement for the sale. The thing about this is that customers assume there's only one way that happens. And to a certain extent, conveyancers and property lawyers in this process as well, they just all get in the same mode, which is that it's automatic, that property is sold, we repay all the debt, and the settlement happens. Well, the truth is there's actually flexibility in this. It's not a case of always having to pay off all of the entire debt. If you are in a situation where you are cross-collateralized with multiple properties with one bank, you may actually have the ability or the flexibility to not necessarily repay all of the debt. Now, where this is really, really interesting is that we are in a world where servicing is really difficult and borrowing extra money is really difficult, and let's not shy away from that. And so many people who built up large portfolios in better borrowing circumstances a long time ago are now in a situation where they can't necessarily borrow more money. They couldn't actually demonstrate the ability to re-borrow the money they already have. And of course, very reasonably, they're very concerned about letting go any of that debt because they know that they wouldn't be able to get that debt again. Well, a lot of people like that feel really stuck, and there is actually potentially a few ways to move forward from that position. One is that you absolutely can sell that property and you don't necessarily have to pay off all of the loans. So how you go about that is this. It's called, or what I refer to it as, a managed discharge process, which means that you can't just let the conveyancers and everyone do what they normally do, or the bank does what it normally does. You absolutely need to manage this process. And what that management looks like is this. Generally speaking, we will go and get fresh valuations on all of the existing properties that are also with that bank, because that is going to be their remaining security. And so having a good idea and current valuations on all of that is really important. Now, you can ask your bank to go and do that, but I promise you they will charge you, or that most of the time they will charge you. And if you obviously work with a broker or WiZDOM finance professional, we are able to do that at no cost for most financial institutions, not every one of them. So we prepare ourselves by getting a good idea of what all the current valuations are. Then when it comes to the discharge request that goes to the bank, we complete that on the basis of this. We go, bank, here is your existing security situation. Here are up-to-date valuations on all of these properties. We are going to release this property as part of a sale. However, we only want to reduce the debt by the amount that we absolutely have to, which of course, knowing the valuations, knowing all of your existing debt, we can calculate that. And of course, that can vary depending on your circumstance, all the way from you don't have to repay any of the debt to them and can thus receive all of the money you are going to generate from the sale, all the way through to, unfortunately, because of the existing situation and valuations, you have to give all of the money from that sale back to the bank and reduce your debt. So there's quite literally the range of what can happen here. But again, you do all of this work with the right professional as part of maximizing that outcome. And I could show you many, many, many situations where people who have been of the impression that they would have to repay all of their debt as part of a sale have actually been able to receive all of that money themselves. And as a result of that, given them a really great cash balance to be able to move forward with their property journey where they otherwise couldn't. It's really exciting for people who feel like they're stuck and actually aren't stuck. They're just not getting great advice around it, and or they believe that and are told that it can only happen a certain way, which is absolutely not the case. Now, the other way that you can actually potentially move forward as well, if you're in that situation too, is that you can actually request the bank to discharge one of your security properties, presuming that the value of all your other properties can continue to support that debt, even though you haven't sold it. So at any time, even in potentially a preparation of sale, or just because you want to leverage lending on that particular property, quite often again, where people are very heavily cross-collateralized with existing financial institutions, and again, if you don't know what cross-collateralization is, I did a video earlier in the series on that, but where they're cross-collateralized, quite often the value improvement in property overall, and sometimes the reduction of debt just through normal repayment, has put that entire portfolio in a situation where one of the properties in that portfolio could be released without any further reduction in debt. And you would know this because you would understand that your LVR across your entire portfolio with a particular bank might be really low. And if that's the case, you absolutely could have the potential of releasing one of your security properties without making any further debt repayment. So again, what we do is we can prepare a discharge through preparing, existing valuations. We get up-to-date valuations, all of the calculations. We show banks, how they are not necessarily in a worse off situation. They're still in a very comfortable situation even after releasing the property. And as a result of that, generally speaking, they will go through the process of releasing that property. Now, once you have clear title on that and there's no longer a mortgage on that property, of course, you have the choice then you could sell it, you could re-leverage it somewhere else, you can do a lot of other things with it. And again, most of the time, a bank is not going to come and tell you that you can do this because it worsens their overall security position. And they're not in the business of worsening their position, right? And certainly not coming to you and making suggestions about worsening their position. So the truth is they keep this stuff really, really secret from you, even though it can make a really substantial and material difference to your ability to move forward where you otherwise can't. So look, again, that's probably enough detail for this video. If you feel like you're in that situation or potentially you might have some flexibility to be able to move forward from what I've said, please reach out to us. Make sure that you're working with your wisdom finance professional around this and looking at potentially exploring these opportunities to move forward. Because again, if it's material and it changes, the situation for you, those outcomes are really significant, really substantial. And I'm very excited for being able to deliver that for my clients. Finding a way forward where they otherwise couldn't. So again, hopefully that that little sneak peek into some of the things that we do is valuable to you. Thank you again for your attention as always, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care and goodbye.